There is a valley cradled by mountains, where two lakes sleep beneath the whisper of snow. A place where winter lingers not as punishment, but as memory. They call it Interlaken. A land of light and silence, of storms that sing, and hearts that refuse to freeze. But long ago, when the lakes had turned to glass, and the wind carried only echoes of sorrow, three small lives set out upon the frost. Not to conquer it, but to understand it. A mother. Two pups. One promise that warmth still lives, even when the world forgets its own heartbeat. This is their journey. The story of courage stitched from snow and love. Of a family that walked through winter's heart, and taught the mountains how to hope again. In Interlaken, dawn holds its breath. The sky, pale as glass, waits above the sleeping valley, two lakes frozen in silence, like twin mirrors of a forgotten dream. On a frost-covered hill, three shapes stand close together, one strong, steady figure, and two smaller hearts pressed beside her. The Belle Petite Famille. A mother German shepherd and her two pups, warmth bound in red scarves, three embers glowing against the endless white. No sound yet. Only the slow hush of the mountains thinking. Even the wind has paused, as if the world is listening for its own heartbeat beneath the ice. Their breath clouds the air, soft ghosts of warmth vanishing into blue. The mother's gaze sweeps across the sleeping lakes, Lake Thun to one side, Lake Brienz to the other, both holding secrets beneath their frozen skin. The pups nuzzle closer, one curious, one shy, each heartbeat echoing the other. And in that perfect stillness, something ancient stirs. Not a sound, not yet, but a promise. The kind that lives between snowflakes and silence. Interlaken wakes beneath the hush, and the story begins. With a family, a winter, and the quiet before the first note of destiny. Snow begins the way music does, softly, almost shy. At first, it's only a shimmer in the air, a handful of drifting stars falling where morning hasn't yet arrived. The Belle Petite Famille lifts their gaze. Tiny flakes land on their fur, fleeting, melting, reborn. The mother's breath curls around her pups like a silent promise of warmth. One of them tilts his head, ears half flopped, listening. Because there, beneath the hush, something calls. A sound as thin as a thread, woven through the wind. It's not quite a melody, not quite a memory, more like the echo of something once loved, long ago. The valley seems to remember it too, the way snow remembers the shape of a leaf, or ice remembers the touch of water. The tune drifts across the frozen meadow, gliding between the sleeping pines and the two great lakes of Interlaken. The puppies press close, uncertain. But the mother only stands taller, ears pricked, heart steady. The whisper passes, leaving silence trembling in its wake. The pups glance up, as if the wind might speak again. And perhaps, it does. Just one note, almost hidden, a sigh through the snow, soft as a secret. Come. The family looks toward the lakes below, where the light is changing, dawn brushing the ice with a pale rose glow. Whatever that sound was, it has already begun to lead them. The first blush of dawn spills over Interlaken, gentle, deliberate, like paint brushed on glass. The two lakes below begin to shimmer, their frozen skins glowing with streaks of pink and turquoise. It is as if the mountains have opened their eyes. The Belle Petite Famille steps forward from the hilltop, their paws crunching through a field dusted in fresh snow. Each step leaves a faint print, a small warmth pressed into the world's cold breath. The pups trot close beside their mother, red scarves fluttering like ribbons of courage in the blue morning light. Overhead, the sky hums with pale gold. The air tastes of frost and beginning. Far off, the peaks of Jungfrau and Eger rise like guardians of the valley, silent, gleaming, eternal. The mother pauses. Beneath her paws, the snow hums faintly, as if something vast and sleeping stirs below. Perhaps it is only the lake beneath the ice, dreaming. Or perhaps, it's the heart of the mountain, waking. The puppies press closer, their reflections dancing across the frozen ground, half real, half imagined. The melody from before lingers faintly in the air, curling around them like invisible thread. The mother lowers her head, listening. The sound fades, replaced by the slow, deep rhythm of the valley breathing again. And then, a path. Barely visible, traced by glimmers of light beneath the frost, leading toward the pines ahead. The family moves as one, following it, 3 sparks of red warmth walking across a world reborn from silence. Beyond the meadow, the land gathers in shadow, a forest of pines rising like ancient sentinels, their branches heavy with snow. The air thickens with mist, soft and silvery, where sunlight dissolves into quiet breath. The Belle Petite Famille steps beneath the trees. Their paws sink into powder, each crunch softened by the hush of falling flakes. The pups stay close, their red scarves the only color in a world of white and whisper. The mother leads, slow and sure. Her eyes trace the faint path glimmering beneath the snow, a thread of frostlight winding deeper into the woods. And then, she stops. Before them lies something impossible. Beneath the drifting snow, a shimmer, like moonlight trapped in crystal. The forest floor opens into a bridge of ice, so clear it seems made of light itself. It arches across a narrow gorge, frozen water cascading beneath it like glass ribbons. The pups hesitate, paws trembling at the edge. The older one leans forward, curious, brave. The smaller presses against their mother's leg, heart thudding. The mother lowers her head, nuzzles them gently, and steps forward. Her paw meets the crystal bridge, no sound, no crack, only the faint chime of frozen air. The pups glance at one another, then follow, step by trembling step. Above them, the mist parts for a moment, revealing a sliver of sky, pale as a promise. And though no one speaks, the meaning is clear. Some bridges appear only when hearts are brave enough to cross them. The bridge hums beneath them, a sound so faint it could be imagination, or perhaps the sigh of ice remembering the river beneath. Each step sparkles with ghostlight, blue and pale, as though stars have been frozen mid-breath beneath their paws. The mother moves with calm grace, her tail brushing the smaller pup's shoulder, a signal of safety. The forest around them is silent now, the mist hanging still, holding its breath. But courage is never quiet for long. The braver pup takes one step too quick, and slips. A startled yelp echoes through the stillness. The other pup lunges forward, trying to help, but their small paws slide, scattering snow crystals into the air like shards of light. The bridge trembles. Time slows. The mother leaps. Strong, swift, the red scarf around her neck flaring behind her like a banner of fire. She steadies them both, one pup caught by the scarf, the other by the scruff, her paws finding balance on the glimmering surface. For a breathless moment, all 3 are still, reflected in the ice below, their mirrored selves shimmering faintly, different somehow, softer, as if the ice remembers every act of love that ever was. Then, silence again. Only hearts pounding, warmth pressing against cold. The pups cling close, trembling, but safe. The mother lowers her head and exhales, slow, steady, grateful. Across the bridge, the path glows brighter, leading toward the open valley ahead. Because trust, once tested, becomes its own kind of light. It begins with a whisper, a change in the rhythm of the air. The mother lifts her head. The forest stills. Even the snowflakes pause mid-fall, waiting. Then, from deep within the valley, the wind finds its voice. A single gust sweeps through the pines, sharp, wild, alive. Branches shiver. Ice cracks in distant echoes. The world exhales, and the storm begins. Snow whirls upward in spirals, devouring the light. The once gentle flakes turn fierce, rushing sideways, wrapping the Belle Petite Famille in a white roar. The puppies press close to their mother, their scarves whipping like flags against the gale. She leans into the wind, steady as stone, guiding them forward through blindness. Every step is a struggle, the air thick with frost, the ground vanishing beneath shifting drifts. The scent of pine fades. The world becomes nothing but breath, heartbeat, and storm. High above, the Jungfrau peaks loom, dark silhouettes against a sky gone silver and wild. Lightning flickers behind the clouds, not with fire, but with cold light, a pulse from the heart of winter itself. The family moves together, three shapes bound by warmth alone. The pups stumble, the mother nudges them onward. Her eyes stay fixed on a dim glow ahead, a promise of shelter, perhaps, or hope pretending to be one. The wind howls again, a voice ancient and endless. Yet through its fury, another sound threads softly, their breathing, their courage, the rhythm of survival. Because even a blizzard must bow before love that refuses to freeze. Through the storm's white roar, a shape emerges, dark and small against the pale. An old wooden cabin, half buried in snow, crouches near the frozen shore of Lake Brienne's. Its roof glistens with ice, and from one narrow window, a flicker of light. The mother sees it first. Her ears tilt forward, eyes narrowing through the storm. With a soft, low sound, not a bark, not a call, just a thread of resolve, she leads her pups toward it. Snow clings to their fur, scarves stiff with frost, but step by step, they push through. The wind claws at their sides, as if unwilling to let them go. And yet, warmth always finds its way home. They reach the cabin door. It groans as the mother nudges it open. Inside, stillness. Wood. Dust. The faint scent of pine smoke long gone. And there, on a small table, a lantern burns, its light golden, trembling, alive. The family gathers near it, three shapes in a circle of glow. Snow piles against the door outside, muffling the storm into a heartbeat's hush. The pups press close, their tiny sides heaving, eyes half closing in relief. The mother lowers herself beside them, curling her body to hold the warmth between them. The light flickers, dancing over the scarves, red against gold. Outside, the storm rages on, furious and forgotten. But inside, there is peace. Because sometimes, the smallest flame outshines the fiercest winter. Morning rises slow over Interlaken. The storm is gone, leaving behind a silence so deep, it hums. Outside the cabin, the snow glitters untouched. The air is clear, sharp, new. Each pine branch wears a crown of frost. The world, for a moment, feels remade. The Belle Petite Famille steps out into the light. Their breath drifts upward like pale smoke, vanishing into blue. The mother leads them toward the lake, Lake Brienne's, now still as glass, its surface sealed in silver. They pause at the edge. Beneath the thin layer of frost, reflections shimmer faintly, soft, pale shapes that mirror their own. But something is different. The reflections move, not quite in sync, as if they belong to another rhythm entirely. The pups tilt their heads. Their mirrored selves tilt back, a heartbeat too late. Then the reflections begin to glow, faintly at first, then brighter, blue-white halos rippling beneath the ice. It is as if the lake remembers them, every step, every breath, every spark of warmth they carried through the storm. The air hums, low and distant, like the echo of that forgotten melody. The mother lowers her muzzle to the ice. The glow trembles, and the reflections bow in return. A communion of light and life, of world and wonder. Then, as quickly as it began, the glow fades. The surface returns to stillness. Only their real selves remain, breath, fur, scarves of red against a white horizon. They turn toward the mountains, where the faintest echo of song begins again, calling them onward. Above Interlaken, the air changes. It feels lighter, sharper, as though every breath carries a secret waiting to be heard. The mother lifts her head toward the peaks. There, gleaming in the newborn sun, the harder calm ridge rises, crowned in ice, glowing like an untouched palace. Beyond it, the Jungfrau stands eternal, her white shoulders draped in clouds. The melody returns. No longer a whisper, now a thread of silver winding through the air, stronger, clearer, full of promise. It moves through the valley, brushing the tips of the pines, rippling the frozen lakes like fingertips on crystal. The pups hear it too. Their ears twitch, their tails flick. Curiosity tugs at them, that small, wild yearning that all hearts feel when something greater calls their name. The mother steps forward, slow and certain. The scarf around her neck catches the light, a ribbon of red fire against the snow. Her paws press new prints into untouched powder, leading upward toward the ridge. The melody rises with them, notes stretching, brightening, echoing from stone to sky. It's not human, not animal, but something older, the mountain itself singing, perhaps, to those who still believe in listening. The pups hesitate, glancing back at the valley below. But the mother's gaze never wavers. She turns to them once, eyes warm, steady, and continues climbing. Above, the wind carries the final phrase of the song, soft, beckoning, unbreakable. And so, the family follows it into the white. Because some calls are not meant to be resisted, only answered. The climb carries them into silence again, the kind that lives only where breath meets sky. Snow deepens beneath their paws, soft and untouched, swallowing sound with every step. Then, around a bend of pine and stone, they see it. A waterfall, frozen mid-motion, suspended in time. Ice cascades from a cliff's edge like ribbons of glass, every droplet caught in stillness. The morning light pours through it, scattering rainbows that tremble across the snow. The pups freeze, awed. The world seems to glow from within. Each shard of ice holds color, blue as breath, gold as dawn, pink as hope remembered. The air hums faintly, the melody returning, not from the sky this time, but from within the ice itself. The family steps closer. The mother's reflection stretches along the frozen wall, rippling like water that wants to move again. The braver pup pads forward, nose twitching. He presses one paw gently to the ice, and in that instant, a flicker of light pulses beneath his touch. Blue. Soft. Alive. The smaller pup gasps in silence, eyes wide. The mother steps between them, steady and calm, but even she feels it. Something awakening beneath the ice. A heartbeat. A memory. Magic waiting for courage. The light flickers again, once, twice, then fades, leaving the waterfall still and clear. Only the echo of its song remains, threading through the cold air like a promise deferred. The mother looks upward, toward where the ice meets the sun. She knows now, the mountain isn't merely calling. It's remembering. And they are part of its memory. The family moves along the edge of the frozen lake, where the waterfall's shadow falls like a veil. The air is bright, but brittle, every sound seems sharper, every breath a crystal waiting to shatter. The pups race ahead, their courage reborn in play. Their paws scatter snowflakes like laughter, small sparks against the white. The mother follows close, her eyes soft but watchful, always counting, always near. Then, a sound. A crack, thin and high, like glass sighing. The pups freeze mid-step. Beneath them, the ice trembles, a shimmer of light rippling outward in rings. Another crack follows, louder, closer, deeper. The world holds its breath. The smaller pup slips first, claws scraping for grip. The older rushes to help, but the ice groans beneath their weight, bending, flexing, fracturing like a living thing. The mother runs. Her muscles coil, her heart drums. The red scarf flares behind her as she leaps, time slowing, air thick with cold and fear. Her teeth catch fabric. Her paws meet the edge. The sound of splitting ice roars through the valley. For one heartbeat, all three hang suspended between sky and reflection, their mirrored selves frozen below, eyes wide, waiting. Then, silence. The ice holds. The pups cling to her, trembling. The mother steadies them, pressing warmth against their shivers. The lake stills again, its cracks glowing faintly before fading, as if it, too, is catching its breath. They stand together, shaken but whole. And somewhere beneath the ice, the mountain exhales, the quiet sound of relief. High above the valley, where the air thins and light grows weightless, the Belle Petite Famille stands on a cliff edge. Below them, Interlaken glitters, two frozen mirrors cupping the morning sun. Above them, clouds drift like slow ships of silver, and the wind moves with quiet reverence. The storm has passed. The danger has ebbed. But something vast still lingers, that tremor in the heart, that echo of what could have been lost. The mother lifts her head to the sky. Her breath gathers in the cold, 1, 2, 3 slow exhales. Then, she howls. Not in fear, not in pain, but in power. A deep, resonant note that rolls through the valley, threading through pine and stone, through lake and cloud. It is a sound that belongs to both earth and sky, a sound that says we endured. The pups listen first, then answer. Their smaller voices rise to meet hers, soft but strong, weaving into the same melody. The wind catches it, carries it, multiplies it, until the air itself sings. And for a moment, Interlaken becomes an instrument of courage. The lakes shimmer brighter. Snowdrifts hum. The mountains echo back in harmony, as if the world itself has been waiting for this sound. When the final note fades, the silence that follows is full of warmth. No storm could erase it. No frost could silence it. The family stands together, hearts loud, breath steady. In the still air, their song lingers unseen, becoming part of the mountain's memory forever. At first, it is only a shimmer, a pale thread of gold weaving through the clouds. Then the light deepens, unfolding like a promise. The mountains catch it, the lakes return it, and all of Interlaken seems to awaken from a long, silver dream. The Belle Petite Famille watches from their ridge, breath mingling in the cold air. The mother's fur glows with soft warmth, each strand catching fire beneath the sun's first touch. The red scarves, those ribbons of memory, flare like living embers against the snow. Where once was frost, now glittering droplets begin to form, trembling in the thaw. Snowflakes drift slower, softer, falling not as a storm, but as celebration. The storm's wild song has ended, and what remains is peace. The pups press close, one nuzzling into the mother's neck, the other gazing wide-eyed at the light blooming over the valley. Below them, Interlaken glows, roofs glinting, the lakes shining with streaks of rose and gold. Even the cold seems gentler now, touched by warmth too deep for weather to steal. For a moment, time itself seems to rest. Every mountain shadow softens, every breath feels sacred. And in the hush, the mother tilts her head slightly, as if listening. And yes, she hears it. The faintest echo of their own song, returned by the wind, distant but eternal. The world has not forgotten. Courage leaves a trace, like sunlight through melting frost. Together, they stand in that golden glow. 3 small sparks of life against the vastness. And the light embraces them, as though morning itself has chosen to begin here. Dusk descends gently, not with darkness, but with color. The sky blushes in shades of lavender and gold, and the twin lakes, Thun and Brienz, awaken beneath it, shimmering like glass hearts learning to beat again. The Belle Petite Famille walks between them, paw prints soft upon the snow's fading crust. Each step leaves a whisper, a heartbeat in rhythm with the wind. The red scarves sway lightly, catching the last rays of sun like banners of life. Lake Toon sighs, a low, resonant breath, as if the water remembers warmth. Lake Brienne's answers, its frozen skin quivering with light. Tiny ripples shimmer beneath the ice, as though the lakes are exchanging secrets too ancient for words. The pups pause. One looks left, the other right, eyes wide with wonder. For a moment, it seems the lakes themselves are alive, swaying to a sound only they can hear. And the mother watches, calm and still, her gaze soft but knowing. She has seen many winters, and she understands, this is how the world heals. The sky deepens into indigo. Snow begins to fall again, but slower now, not cruel, not cold, gentle as a lullaby. The flakes catch the light, drifting like tiny dancers above the mirrored lakes. In that space between Toon and Brienne's, where wind and water meet, the family moves as one. 3 hearts, 2 lakes, 1 rhythm. The mountains echo their steps. The lakes hum their approval. And somewhere deep beneath the ice, the pulse of spring begins to stir. Faint, but unstoppable. For even in the heart of winter, the world remembers how to dance. The air grows still, wrapped in the hush that comes before nightfall. The lakes lie quiet, wearing their twilight like a secret. And then, softly, tenderly, it begins. A sound. Faint as breath upon frost. A melody carried on the evening breeze, the same tune that once haunted the valley, now changed, now warm. It moves like light through mist, gentle as memory returning to where it belongs. The puppies lift their heads, ears twitching. They know this song, not from their minds, but from their hearts. It was the call that once frightened them, the echo that stirred the storm. But tonight, it is different. The melody is softer, slower, no longer a plea, but a promise. The mother lowers herself beside them, the snow sighing beneath her weight. The pups curl close, tiny bodies pressed against her warmth, scarves brushing her fur. Together, they listen. The tune weaves through the pines, threads across the lakes, and drifts up toward the sleeping mountains. It tells of courage found and love that endured. It tells of frozen hearts learning to thaw. The stars begin to bloom above them, one by one, quiet witnesses to the song's return. The lakes shimmer faintly, their surfaces alive with reflected light. And somewhere between the last note and silence, the mother exhales, eyes half closed. The melody belongs to the valley, but also to them. It was never lost. It was waiting. As snow begins to fall again, soft, slow, endless, the Belle Petite Famille rests, wrapped in warmth, listening to the lullaby that once called them home. Night falls gently over Interlaken, deep, velvet, and endless. The mountains become silhouettes, their sharp edges softened by starlight. The frozen lakes lie still, twin mirrors waiting for the heavens to speak. And then, the first light appears. A single thread of green unfurling across the darkness. Then another, violet, turquoise, gold, weaving like ribbons through the alpine air. The aurora has come. Silent. Sacred. Alive. The mother lifts her head, eyes wide with reflected color. The pups follow her gaze, their tiny faces glowing beneath the shifting lights. Each shimmer dances across their fur, painting them in shades of dream and wonder. Their red scarves burn brighter, as though the sky itself has decided to honor their courage. Above them, the aurora moves like a living song, the melody of the earth itself, sung in light. It swirls and ripples, answering the music that once haunted the valley. Where wind once howled and ice once ruled, now color reigns, free, joyous, untamed. The mother stands, tall and still, her breath silver against the cold. The pups press close, one resting against her leg, the other gazing upward, lost in awe. The world feels vast, but kind. Silent, but full of meaning. And as the aurora stretches from peak to peak, It feels as though the sky has reached down to whisper. You have made it through the storm. For this night, this shimmering miracle belongs to them. To every heart that has ever endured winter and still chosen to look up. Dawn has not yet come. The world is hushed, the air crisp, the kind of stillness that feels alive. The aurora's glow lingers faintly, painting the snow in ghostly hues of blue and green. And there, in that sacred quiet, the Belle Petite Famille rests. The mother lowers her head, nose brushing the snow. It's cold, but soft, forgiving. She presses closer, eyes half closed, as if searching beneath it, not for warmth, but for meaning. And then, with the gentlest exhale, she leaves a small imprint in the frost. The pups watch her, their tiny tails stirring the air. They do not understand why she looks so still, so thoughtful. But they feel it, that something is being shared, something wordless and pure. One puppy tilts its head, then steps forward, placing its paw beside her mark in the snow. The other follows, until 3 prints lie together. A quiet signature of love, written in winter's hand. The mother lifts her gaze toward the mountains. They stand eternal, pale giants beneath a fading sky. And for the briefest moment, it feels as if the peaks themselves bow slightly in return, acknowledging what they've witnessed. The wind stirs softly through the valley, carrying a whisper. Not of storm, not of sorrow, but of gratitude. Somewhere deep beneath the frozen ground, a thaw begins. Tiny streams murmuring to life, unseen but certain. The promise is simple, and it shines between them. That love, once kindled, survives every winter. That even beneath snow and silence, life is waiting, ready to bloom again. At last, morning. The sky is pale gold, soft, trembling, alive. A faint mist curls above the lakes of Interlaken, no longer frozen, but breathing once more. Where ice once ruled, ripples now bloom like gentle sighs, each one catching the newborn light. The Belle Petite Famille stands at the edge of the thaw. Their reflections shimmer in the melting water, not as ghosts, but as living warmth. The mother's fur gleams with silver dew, her eyes are calm, knowing. The pups stretch, shake the snow from their coats, and bounce forward, noses brushing the damp earth beneath. It smells of life, rich, new, real. The lakes whisper softly to one another. Not in song, but in rhythm. As if the world has learned to breathe again. Above them, the mountains glow with quiet pride. The first birds of spring dare to sing, hesitant at first, then sure, bright, joyous. Their notes weave through the valley, the melody rising where the aurora once danced. The red scarves ripple gently in the breeze. Symbols of every step, every storm, every heartbeat that led them here. And as they begin to walk, the snow beneath their paws gives way to soft earth. Each print gleams for a moment in the morning light. Then fades, not lost, but given back to the world. They do not look back. They do not need to. The journey has changed them, and in some quiet, mysterious way, it has changed Interlaken too. 3 figures, one strong, 2 small, moving into the light. The lakes behind them shimmer gold. The wind hums their story. And the world, for the first time in a long while, feels warm again. And so, when the snow falls again over Interlaken, it carries whispers of that winter. The one where 3 hearts walked through silence and found their light. Some say the lakes remember. On the stillest mornings, when frost kisses the water's edge, you might see a shimmer, faint, fleeting. As though courage itself ripples beneath the surface. And if you listen closely, beyond the wind, beyond the sigh of the trees, you may hear it. A low hum, a melody soft as breath. The echo of a mother's call, and 2 small voices answering. They say love leaves no footprint that time can erase. It simply melts into the earth. becomes the warmth in the soil, the glow in the dawn, the hush before a storm. So remember them. The Belle Petite Famille. The sparks of warmth that crossed the frozen lakes. They did not seek glory. They sought only one another. And in doing so, they taught the valley how to dream again. Now, the lakes sleep. The mountains keep watch. And somewhere, beneath the snow's quiet sigh, a promise still breathes. That even the coldest heart can find its spring.